Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Welcome into Sports Tonight. Emily Gagnon here for a second day in a row riding solo. It is Tuesday, June 25th. We're exactly 6 months away from Christmas, if anybody needed to hear that. And let's see, give me 1 second. We're still talking NBA draft to get this show started. That's because in quite literally 24 hours, the 2024 NBA draft will get started. The Hawks, as of now, still have the #1 overall pick. And what we're hearing, Alex Sarr, who could very well be the #1 overall pick, declined to work out for the Hawks. I don't know if that changes whether the Hawks, if they wanted to draft him or not, whether they had hopes to have him on their team, if that changes their mind or not. However, he talked today, sports director Bailey Burmaster, she's in New York, and she asked him about it, and it sounds like his agents, the people around him, the team he has, might be thinking something different. So that's the case. That could very well mean that he will not be drafted 1 overall. But do the Hawks care? Sometimes you hear of players not wanting to go to a team and the team still drafts them. The paycheck still clears. So we'll see. It could be position, it could be playing time, on why maybe or possibly his agents or his team don't necessarily like Atlanta as a good fit for him. But tomorrow we will find out if Atlanta believes that he is a good fit, regardless of what his team believes. But he certainly is, or appears to be, a top 5 draft pick in tomorrow's NBA draft. That tips off at 8 o'clock, and that is from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And we will have Bailey there. She'll bring us all the latest tonight, tomorrow. We'll certainly know what's going on with the Hawks throughout the night. And if there's any trades or if anything happens, we'll bring you that news as well. Moving on to the Atlanta Open. The tennis tournament is in its final year in Atlanta. It's a great one over at Atlantic Station. It's from July 20th through the 28th this year. They released their player field today. We will see Andres Martin, the yellow jacket, the senior, play in the wild card round. This is his 3rd season playing in the wild card round. So for him, that's pretty cool. But we also got to hear from John Isner today, the 6-time Atlanta Open champion. The Atlanta Open had its media day over at Atlantic Station. So let's hear from John and a couple of other guys ahead of the tournament, less than a month away in its final year in Atlanta.
Look, everybody loves Atlanta. The players love playing here, and so we're able to attract some of the guys that weren't going to the Olympics. I've been talking to Ben for a long time. He wanted to get back here, and then Francis, with changing his position on the Olympics, he wanted a little bit more of the ATP Tour to get the points, so we only just finally got him across the line on Sunday because the entry deadline was Monday at 12 p.m. So we're really excited about the field. As you saw, there's a lot of great players that have been top 10 coming, some of them coming back from some injuries, but it'll be a very competitive field, and we're hoping to have some of our best tennis we've ever had here this year.
Peter, what is your biggest takeaway from these last 15 years playing here in Atlanta?
Well, that's a great question. Look, the support that we've received from everybody here. Atlanta is the biggest tennis town in the U.S. with the leagues that we have here, the ALTA and the USTA leagues that we've got here. More people play this event, and you can see the excitement when everybody talks about the stories they have, whether it be of John when he was a younger guy, because John's been here so often, winning 6 of them, and the stories with Andy Roddick, one of his first events he ever won, his last event he ever won was in Atlanta. We have some tremendous stories, so I think all of those things coming together are what makes it exciting, just that history and even the history of how we got to Atlantic Station. When Star talks about that, it's a really amazing story how she got us down here to Atlantic Station. So we're excited about how that's all come together, and I think the stories that we'll be telling up in the suites this year are going to be a lot of fun.
What do you think the biggest legacy will be?
That you've seen some great players come through here and the start of some great careers. Chris Eubanks, for instance, was a player that Chris Who type thing, and now he's, made the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. He's done all the things he's done. John's legacy of how long he's been here, and then our last guy, Ben Shelton. Nobody knew who Ben Shelton was till a year ago, and we as a company said, hang on, we think this guy might be pretty good. And now you can always say, no matter what happens, Ben's first match he ever played on the Pro Tour was at the Atlanta Open. So we're excited about that and going to watch that grow over the next 20 years.
Since this tournament has started, they've added some things like the women playing on a special day. Is there any opportunity, especially looking forward this going away, for bringing the women's tournament?
Our founder, Gary Furman, always said to us, Atlanta has been great. It's supported us both from the partner standpoint, the fans, the volunteers, the media, and he wants us to bring tennis back here in some form or fashion, whether that's a WTA event or if it's some kind of other different event. We'd love to come back, and we're exploring opportunities. As everything, it takes time to do that, but Atlanta's a great city and a great market for professional tennis, and over the 15 years we've shown that it's a very successful market to do that. So we hope to be able to do something, maybe not next year, but down the future we want to be able to do something.
What does John having him here today mean to you?
Look, it's a culmination of a great career. John retired last year. I was lucky enough to see one of his last matches at the US Open, and he epitomizes what we've always wanted from American tennis: a great ambassador, a great person, great family man. On top of that, very successful. All of those things coming together, and then having him be able to talk about this, and he's beaten everybody on that field up there. He owns everybody up there. So it's really important for us to have somebody like him. And so when we talk about also our Champions Challenge on Monday night, he's a 9-time finalist. He basically loves Atlanta. We've been here 15 years, and 9 times he's been in the final. So that's very important to us to have John here, and we're just really excited to have him a part of our last event, because you can't talk about Atlanta Open without saying John Isner at least 6 times as the champion.
It's cool for me to be back here today. It's certainly a little different. Typically this time of year I'm over in England getting ready for Wimbledon, but things are different now. You retire and life changes, but Peter mentioned this tournament has been a massive part of really my life and my career. I've never missed this event. I played it every single year, so I consider myself so lucky to have done that. I won't quite get over the finish line to play every single edition, but this tournament is so near and dear to my heart, and a lot of success here. The best tournament, of my whole career, no doubt. I'm making the finals 9 times, but anytime I can give back and support an event that's meant so much to me, I'm always going to do that.
You're going to be back, and you and Andy are going to be on court. So
yeah.
You will get to be on court.
Exactly. I'll get on court one more time with Andy Roddick against Bob and Mike Bryan, the best doubles team of all time. Not arguably, they are the best doubles team of all time. But I think Andy and I are still got a little bit left in the tank. We don't play as much as we used to, for sure, but I think the product's going to be good. I mean, Bob and Mike are like almost sickly competitive, and they're going to want to win, and we're going to want to win. So it's going to be a good match, I think.
Yep. What's your best memory from this event? Either here or any of the other locations? I remember one.
Oh, yeah.
McGill came to see you play.
Yeah, that was Sam. That's a great mention there. In 2010, the first edition of this event at the Atlanta Athletic Club. I remember having Coach McGill, the legendary Georgia tennis coach. I didn't play under him, but he was still around when I was at school, and he meant so much to me. He came and watched me play in Atlanta. I have a photo that's still framed in my house of me, giving him a hug after one of my matches. So, fantastic memory. I think probably the first 2 years of the event, I lost in the finals. So it kind of stung, and both of them in 3 sets. I'm like, well, then you start to question, am I ever going to win this event? I lose in the finals 2 years in a row. But I think the year after that, when I won, or maybe it was the second year after that, that was probably the best feeling, to get over the finish line, to win this for the first time in my career. I never would have imagined I'd win it 5 more times after that. But again, it just go back to how lucky I've been to have played this tournament for so long and be healthy every single year to be able to come out here and compete.
John, I imagine that this ending is bittersweet for you.
Yes.
But where do you see that the future of tennis in Atlanta from this point on?
Well, look, we all know how much of a tennis town Atlanta is. That's the reason this tournament was brought to Atlanta, because the people here are just tennis crazy, and it's awesome to see the participation they have at the Alta level. We all know about that. It's great, and the support from this town and the fans. I mean, the night matches at this tournament are just so much fun to be a part of. You know, the sun goes down and the weather gets a little bit better, and the stadium's packed every single time. It is so much fun to play here in Atlanta. I think the legacy is how well this town supported this event year after year after year. So it's made it very special, I think, for Atlanta, for everyone involved in the tournament. Made it extremely special for the players as well, because you want to, you know, as you know, guys on tour, you want to be able to play in packed houses and in good atmospheres, and that's what Atlanta provided every year.
John, we can't do this last one without mentioning one of your biggest fans, a young man who's always in the stands.
Justin, yeah,
always
absolutely.
cheering you on, and I think the media have asked you about him every day, every time.
Yeah. No, I've kept in touch with Justin and his family ever since I first saw him cheering for me, and it was such an amazing story. He's this little kid, tiny little kid, and now he's like completely grown up. It shows how old I am. I think he's about to go to college now. It's crazy to see his transformation from this tiny little kid with his little voice cheering me on, and now he's like almost grown up now. So it's cool. Like, we keep in touch. I have his number. We follow each other on social media and whatnot. And his parents are just great people. He is funny story. I don't know if many people know. Like, he was in Shanghai, China one time, and he watched me play in Shanghai years ago. That just goes to show how much we've kept in touch, and the story really is amazing. He helped me out so many times in this tournament when I'm playing in the finals and it's hot and I'm not feeling so great. I'm tired out there after playing a bunch of matches, and he would always cheer me on with his energy. It was just I'm so appreciative of him.
What's the key to a win here? I mean, you mentioned the heat.
Yeah.
You play daytime, nighttime. What's the key for you?
Well, I think just like anything, any player will tell you, like the first couple matches are definitely the hardest. You're never going to feel that comfortable on court because the conditions are different. Typically, a lot of guys are coming from the grass court season and they've had a week of practice. You can practice is one thing. When you get on the match court, on the center court, with the crowd, like, you're not going to necessarily play your best in the opening round, but you can play yourself into form. So the opening rounds are extremely important. I think for me, I won a lot of my first, second round matches like very tight fashion where I could have been out in the first round easily. And then boom, all of a sudden I have this like second lease on life and I start to play much better match after match after match. And then eventually I get to the point where I like play my best match in the finals. And that's, that's just how it goes. Any player will tell you that. Everyone is so good, as we see in the draw here. I'm telling you, every single player on that draw can beat anyone in there. So the field is super deep and super tough, and it's wide open.
How's retirement looking for you?
Let's do one more for John.
Yeah, well, it's different for sure. It's you do something for so long. I mean, I go back, to my college days. I mean, really for 20 years I was doing the same thing over and over again. And all of a sudden it ends. It's different, but I'm lucky to have an amazing life at home, and I'm going to be doing some TV actually for ESPN at Wimbledon. So try to learn a thing or two from the greats like this guy, and try my hand out on TV. So to be a part of ESPN for Wimbledon is a cool opportunity for me.
Can I ask you one Olympic question?
Yep.
Because there's some guys who passed the Olympics to come and play here. So you played in the Olympics. Talk about playing at a venue that you play a major in.
Yeah.
You played the year they played at Wimbledon, right?
That's right. That was actually a weird, sort of a surreal experience in 2012, that was the one Olympics I played. Of course, you played Wimbledon and came back home, played Atlanta, and that's how the schedule was. And right after Atlanta, we went back over to Wimbledon to play in the Olympics. The courts were completely worn out because obviously the grass wasn't growing back, so the courts were brown. And of course, you wear your country colors, and it wasn't all whites. You see all sorts of colors there at Wimbledon. At the Olympics that year at Wimbledon, which was very unique to be a part of. For me, it didn't really feel like the Olympics. It just felt like kind of another Wimbledon with colors, And it's like we were 6-7 miles away from the Olympic Village, which is it's 45 minutes away in the traffic in London. So it just kind of felt like another tournament. But certainly being a part of the Olympics is very special.
Man, it feels great. I'm just so grateful to be here one more year.
Obviously, I've had a lot of experience, especially being a college guy. I've played here 2 years in a row already, so super grateful to have the opportunity. And I feel a part of this tournament now. I think I just graduated, so I'm excited to start full-time being a pro, and I'm really excited to play this last year and just get after it.
Yeah, in this place you have some success here.
Yeah.
Talk about that part. You come back to a place where you had some success.
Yeah, I mean, I train a mile away, so the courts conditions I'm really used to. I love the speed of the courts, the heat. I'm obviously from Georgia. I've been ball boying here since I was like 13, 14. So, to win a match here 2 years ago was a great experience. I played unbelievable, and I was winning my second round too. It just came a little short against Manarino. But last year I played Chris Eubanks. A good friend. We were practicing the day before we found out. No, the day of we found out we were going to play each other. So it was kind of funny. We were talking trash, and he was playing really well, so he took me out. And I'm just excited to see what happens this year. I'm feeling really good about my game and excited to make a run here.
So how does it feel to follow in the steps of guys like John and Andy with a tournament like this and the legacy that is left here in the city? Yeah,
I mean, being an American and being from Georgia, I would say more in terms of Eubanks. I followed him a lot, and he's been a kind of role model to me. As a freshman going to Georgia Tech, he was always there, kind of helping me, giving me advice. So, following that college route, I think I play, a pivotal role. I feel very special to be a part of this, group of college guys coming up into the pro tour and kind of helping that movement and, being a face of college tennis. I think me and a lot of other guys doing the same thing. It's really, really a good honor, and I'm really grateful to be a part of that.
Can you talk about, of course, you were about 8 years old when this tournament first kicked off.
Right.
When did you think, hey, it would be great if I could play in that? And what was that? What year was that?
Yeah, I mean, I just played a lot of sports when I was little, and then, you start getting serious, you start focusing on one sport. I remember I would train at Lifetime Athletic, when I was like 13, 14, and a lot of the guys, graduating into college, they got a wild card into qualifying here. And I ball boy for like Tommy Paul, Walker Duncan, some old names. And I looked up to these guys, they played college tennis as well. So when I ball boy for them, I was like, oh, I practiced with these guys. I was like, this could be, I can see myself playing here. And Tommy Paul was in qualies, and now, he's one of the best players in the world. So just seeing myself, visualizing myself on there when I was little, knowing it or not, now I'm here standing. So it's always kind of been a dream of mine to play amongst these guys. So, it's super special for me.
Now that you finished college, what's the future look like for you?
Oh, just on tour. That's next step is just playing on tour. I'm trying to figure out my schedules, my game, just everything to, help me propel myself to the top of the game. Hopefully play amongst these guys more often. So, I just hopefully I don't have to use my tech degree. I'm really honored to have that. I graduated in industrial engineering, but that was never my goal. But I'm just really excited to play tennis. I love the sport, and I'm so excited to just be on here full time.
Andres, here's a fun question. I mean, one of the hit movies of the summer, Challengers, features sport heavily. How does it feel to see the pop culture impact of your sport being celebrated in a hit movie like that? You know what I mean?
Actually, I saw the movie the other day. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was weirdly accurate. I played juniors growing up, and I was just like, but I thought it was really funny, the movie, and I didn't understand the plot at the end. I thought it kind of finished abruptly, but the movie was cool. It was kind of weirdly accurate how the players go through. I feel like it highlighted a lot of the struggles that the players go through, especially with one of the characters, how he's kind of like sleeping in the car and stuff like that. I mean, that's so accurate. A lot of players do that, especially on the future challenger level. So I enjoyed the movie. I'm glad it's, a little more mainstream. Tennis is getting popular in a lot of different ways. So seeing Zendaya, a huge celebrity, leading a tennis movie like that was really cool. And even kind of transitioning the college tennis to the pro tennis, I think a lot of people now can understand how that works, because I think college and tennis in general, people just, you play tennis, but they don't understand the levels and how to get to a certain level. So I thought it was cool. Good. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys, so the Atlanta Open at Atlantic Station is in its final year. And yes, there are so many people who play tennis in Atlanta, one of the biggest tennis communities in the country, top 3 for sure. So always a popular tournament and so well done right in the center of Atlanta. And that will get underway on July 20th. So that's something to look forward to. Moving on to Atlanta United. So we heard from the team today. They have played decent on the road as of late, not well at home. Since Rob Valentino took over, since the firing of Gonzalo Pineda, they've had 2 draws and a win. The win was on the road. The most recent match they played was at St. Louis. St. Louis in the very bottom of the Western Conference. And, it looked like Atlanta United could have taken them down given the fact that they just, are a bottom team in the league. However, they left St. Louis with a draw, a 1-1 draw. But let's hear from Brad Guzan, who's been with the team since it very first started, and he has a lot of perspective on what should be done, what's happening as the team continues to struggle throughout the season.
The road form seems to be rounding into form. What can y'all take from that and apply to the home form now?
Yeah, that's a challenge, right? It was a good couple of results in terms of points. 2 difficult places, difficult conditions to go into, and to find a way to get 3 points and then to battle back and get a draw. We now need to up it even more and make sure come Saturday we're able to get 3 points.
What is the difference between the road form these past 3 games and maybe the beginning of the season?
I'm not sure. I think when you talk about we talk about plays and individual plays lead to whether it's goals in Thiago's case, right, in the DC game, or you look at whether it's mistakes that lead to conceding goals or conceding chances and giving the other team confidence. It's having more good plays than not and making sure those big plays that lead to either goals for them or really good chances are few and far between. And so, we've got to try and limit those. And, it's nothing, it's nothing completely different than what we've been talking about all year. So, we're just trying to be a bit more secure, a bit more buttoned up. I think when we do things like that in terms of compactness, it gives us a better opportunity to go and win games.
Y'all played 9 matches in 30 days, and now you're about to play 6 matches in 18 days. Is it too much?
Similar to what we were just saying about the training top, it is what it is. You can't affect the schedule. You've got to take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and that's all we can do. It's when you go out and perform as best you can, and it's not something you're going to see me overly complain about.
Okay.
It is what it is, and you roll your sleeves up. It's why we do what we do, and hopefully we, meaning all of us out there, love the challenge.
In these kinds of runs of schedule, what's the most important thing to finding success?
Being able to, one of the most important things is being able to rest and recover and mentally and physically be able to go again, so that when you step on the field for the next game that we are ready to go. And in terms of success, obviously we're at a point where we know we need to be picking up points, and I think you look at the St. Louis game, a game where another day maybe we score one more, and of course they had a chance or two, which of course that's sports in general, but we're not miles off it, and so we needed to keep plugging away, which we will do, and in these stretches of games, rest and recovery is huge, mentally and physically, to make sure that when we step on the pitch the next time that we're ready to go.
Back-to-back games on the road with a back 5, and 3 of those back 5 were homegrowns. As somebody who's been here from day one, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see the homegrowns come through. It's exciting to see them, take that next step in terms of performing and playing at a high level, playing in the first team, and so it's exciting. As someone that's, you hear about these kids, through coaches and the academy coaches and whatnot, and then to see it all come to fruition and see them step on the field, that part is pretty cool, especially from a club standpoint.
When you see one of them, and you're kind of trying to gauge, what they have, what's the one thing you're looking for to just know? Okay, this guy, yeah.
I think when you look at kids these days in general, for me it's the humbleness, it's the determination to work hard and not be satisfied of where they're at, because those kids that are being talked about tend to be the best ones in the under 16 age group, the best ones in the under 17 age group, and it's pretty easy in today's world, especially social media, everyone saying how great you are at 16, how great you are at 17, and you're going to have this wonderful career ahead of you. Well, that's not a given, that's not guaranteed. It's you've got to go and earn that, and yeah, you may have good starting points at 16, 17, but that doesn't mean that you're going to go and then play for the next 20 years. It doesn't mean that at all. And so, when you look at those kids, the humbleness and the determination to want to get better, that for me is a huge encouraging sign.
What would 16-year-old Brad Guzan tweeted about himself? It was back then.
It would. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know.
When you have young players,
I don't even know if we had internet back then.
When you have young players in the back line, does it change how you communicate and organize?
For sure. It changes how you communicate, how you organize, bless you. It changes how potentially you play in terms of playing certain passes in certain situations. You're maybe thinking twice in terms of, actually, instead of putting him in that difficult situation, I'm gonna choose option B here, and whether that's maybe a bit more direct, whether it's bypassing that player to go to another player. So you try not to let it affect the game model too much, but at the same time, you're also conscious of the fact that it's a young player on the road, hostile environment. You're trying to give them the avenues for success.
That humbleness, are you seeing that from these guys, from these homegrowns?
For sure. There's a reason why they're on the field. There's a reason why they're in with the first team, and like I said, those are good starting points. And then once you have those starting points, you've got to go out and deliver.
Brad, it's that time of year where a lot of Atlanta United supporters are probably hanging on every rumor of who might be going, who might be coming. I imagine you don't spend a lot of time researching that, but how do you keep those talks from permeating, y'all's group into the dressing room?
Yeah, to be honest, you're never going to fully keep them out. You almost have to laugh about them to a certain extent, and until something's official, whether it be from a player or from the club, you just kind of water off a duck's back. You just get on with it, and it is what it is. And when you have the players that we have at this club, there's always going to be rumors. There's always going to be links with other clubs worldwide, and so that's part of it. And so, like I said, you just let it roll.
I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but has anything changed in the day-to-day process under Rob?
No, not a whole lot, to be honest. Again, I don't think we were miles off it before, and I still don't. We're just obviously from a team and a group standpoint trying to tweak things to alter the outcome of the results, because the team that you're playing against, they're also trying to win, right? That's the beauty of sport. They're trying to do their job to what they think will give them success to beat us, and so that's all part of the challenge.
You going to the game on Thursday?
Yes, I'll be there.
Who are you rooting for?
Come on, Doug. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us for tonight's Sports Tonight. Tomorrow, the NBA draft. The Hawks have the #1 overall pick. We will have a bunch of coverage for you from here in Atlanta and from the draft in New York. But you enjoy your night, and we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.